Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the January 6th Al-Anon readings, Encouraged to Change, and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Begin with a little time for myself. Today is one of my dearest friends' birthdays. Happy birthday, Donna. We have been friends since 1978. Pretty amazing. All right, I'm going to take a minute and look this over. The question of the day is, in what situations do I get a feeling of belonging in Al-Anon today? Love that. The passage is about a person who was thinking of leaving their alcoholic partner, and they weren't sure that they still belonged in Al-Anon if they weren't actively living with someone who was dealing with substance abuse. But then this person realized that they were always dealing with the disease, whether they were dealing with an active substance abuser or not. And they were very inspired by other Al-Anon members who had serenity throughout their lives in all kinds of situations, even outside of dealing with their alcoholic loved one. So today's reminder is telling us that even if we don't have any active drinkers in our lives, we could still benefit from being a member of Al-Anon. And the quote is from Paths to Recovery, and it's saying that it's up to each of us to decide whether we belong in Al-Anon or not. And many people in Al-Anon are no longer in crisis. I am no longer in crisis. But I find that it's really two different things. I find that Al-Anon helps me in every aspect of my life. And the other thing is that the tendrils of the disease impact everything, or can impact everything. They put their little touch on everything. And so I came because my son was having challenges. Then I realized that my mom was an adult child, but she never knew that terminology. She never had the support of Al-Anon. So that is 4 generations that it's impacted right in that sentence that I just said. So that's what I mean. And I'm not trying to I'm not over sensationalizing it, but I'm not trying to be over dramatic is the word that I was thinking of. But what I am saying is I wholeheartedly believe this passage and the importance of it so deeply. And in what situations do I get a feeling of belonging in Al-Anon? Uh, I'm trying to think of it. There are so many situations that I'm trying to think of a situation where I didn't feel like I belonged. And the only time where I might feel like it, feel like something is better saved, like the really, really, really personal things I save for my sponsor and my really close Al-Anon friends. I may not share that at a meeting, but otherwise, nothing's off the table. Everything is, uh, I've said this before, but my sponsor knows absolutely everything about me. I did not hold back. I desperately needed to feel unconditionally accepted and loved by somebody, and that was where I directed that. And because I was told in all my conference approved literature that that was the place to do that. And so I did it, and it worked. And so that gave me more strength to do that in other parts of my life too, like with my partner. Um, and some of my, I would say, one of my Al Anon friends, like my sponsor and one of my Al Anon friends. Because everything is not for everyone to know. It's up to us what we want to tell people. But my whole point in going through all that is that I it's like a constant feeling of belonging and being an equal partner in the recovery of the greater good because we're all helping each other recover. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's a miracle of humanity. I'm so glad to be a part of it. And I know that sounds over exaggerated, but it's not. It's absolutely not. It is a fellowship of acceptance and love, and it's wonderful, and it's gentle. It's wonderful. Oh my goodness. So, how about you? In what situations do you get a feeling of belonging in Al-Anon today? I love it so much. Okay, now moving on. And I dropped my book, and it's literally like, I'm not showing it correctly, but like I need to glue the spine because it's like literally hanging, it's falling apart. It's well loved. It's been well loved for a long time. All right, I'm just going to take a minute to look this over. This passage is about reaching out to other Al-Anon people in between meetings, and how it's our responsibility to solve our own problems. However, reaching out to someone in Al-Anon, we will notice that when they listen to us, and of course, nobody is obligated to listen to me. If I call them every day and I talk for an hour, that's between two people to decide if that's a situation that works for them. But when we patiently listen to somebody else, or when we share authentically with somebody else, it helps us to reason things out. We often get reminded of a tool or an idea that will help us in our situation. When we talk with someone in Al-Anon, we'll notice that we're not given advice. That person will often share experience, strength, and hope. So if someone calls me and is very troubled, I will say, well, I experienced something similarly, and this is what worked for me. But I'm not giving advice. I'm not telling someone what to do. And then it's saying that things seem a lot smaller when they're not trapped inside our head. Today's reminder, reminding us that our higher power often speaks through other people. And when we talk to an Al-Anon person, we're exposing ourselves to that guidance. And the quote is from William Ernest Hawking. I don't know how to paraphrase this. I don't know. I'm just going to read it. We cannot climb up a rope that is attached only to our own belt. I just think that's striking me as very funny. But when we only rely on ourselves, that's what we're doing. It's a great reminder. As always, we'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.